Okay. So the first things first, in our ISM book, let's start with that first. So in our ISM book, the first thing that you have is you have your table of contents, right? The next thing that you're going to have is your 1.1. All right. Now your 1.1, remember, just needs to be your one pager. Everybody good so far? Now then we're going to go to 1.2. 1.2 has to do with your mass and weight. Remember, you have your foldable on the bottom here. Everybody good so far? We're going through as we go to make sure we've got everything. Next one is your 1.3. Remember, your 1.3 had to do with the scientific method, and you have that drawn in your book. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Your 1.4, which was your scientific research. Okay? That there is where you put the scientific method information that you had that I did online. Okay? That was the last. Yes. So that has that for 1.4. Now we're going to go to 2.1. 2.1 is where you have your prefixes and things that you wrote down from that session. Also, you have your mass, density, and your weight, right? And then section chapter 2.2 is where we did our math at yesterday. I told you to take your handout from yesterday, which was your density handout, and where we did some of the density stuff in your lab, and we told you to tape that in. Is everybody good so far? Okay, so the first thing I want to do before we take our quiz, I want to go over some things. So let's start first. Let's start with the triangle. Okay, I'm going to tell you the triangle's not on this quiz. Okay, I'm going to put it on the board. That's why I'm putting it on the board for you so you can have it. So, what goes on the top? M, and that's for mass. How did we measure mass in the lab? Triple beam balance. And what unit was that, Damien? What's the units was that? Remember? What's the units of measurement on our triple beam balance in our digital scale? Grams. Perfect. Okay. So in here, on the assignment, if you see anything with G, what that's going to tell you it is?
Gram.
It's mass. Okay? Now, what was on this side? Nope, density was on this side. Volume. Now, these are the things we did back there. Remember, density we had to find yesterday. All right, our volume, what do we use to measure volume with? Graduating cylinder. And we measured that with what? What's my units? Okay, so we got milliliters, but there's another one. Centimeters cubed. Correct. Thank you, ma'am. All right, using those two things, what were we trying to find in the lab? Okay. Density is two different groups, two different forms, right? So what we're going to do is, what is the first form? Grams always are on the top, right? For both of them. The one on the bottom will either be milliliters or centimeters cubed. Do you see that on the word problem? You know what that means, okay? Everybody good? All right, let's close everything up.
So, Ms. Long, I got a question for you. So.
Oh, okay. I need to go one more place. You're exactly right. Let me do that, and if it's not the place you're going. So, when we look at this, we have to put on our triangle these two symbols, right? Why do we have to put those two symbols? Because it will tell us how to change the equation based on what we're looking at. Now, don't answer, okay? But I want you to say it in your head what you think the answer is. If I'm looking for mass, what I do is I put my hand over that, and it's going to tell me what my equation's going to be, right? Okay. If I'm looking for density, I put up my hand over density, and that's going to tell me what my equation's going to be. Do you see the equation? Okay. If we're looking for volume, put my hand over it. Do you see the equation? Now, in this test, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to underline D-E-R. Okay. U-N-D-E-R-L-I-N-E. Underline any numbers that you see. Okay? The second thing you're going to do is you're going to write down all three variables. And what I mean by that is you're going to write down M, D, and V on your paper. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go look at the word problem and find those variables. Now, you look at the units to see which one it goes, right? So you're going to put it in there, the ones that you have, and the ones that you don't have, that's what you're solving for, right? Once you do that, number 3 is I want you to write the new equation. After you write the new equation, make sure when you're doing these, here you have units. Here you have units. And then for your answer, I want you to put a box around it to tell me that's the answer, but make sure you use units. Everybody good? Listen, you should make 100 on this. Okay? 3 little bitty questions. So I'm going to hand this to you. Everybody got a calculator on their desk. Now let's talk about the calculator. What mode do we need to have it in?
Scientific.
No.
Oh,
Normal. In radian.
what is radiant mean?
Radian is if you go down, it'll tell you radian. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. I'll get you one. Yep. Okay. So at the very top, it just gives us information, right? We've seen these before, haven't we? The only thing is different is you see liquid, gas, and solid. So number 1 says, what is the density of an object with a mass of 150 grams and a volume of 20 milliliters? Number 2 says, the density of iron, 7.86 grams over centimeters cubed, and the mass is 15.0 centimeters cubed. The third one says, James wants to find the density of a coin. It's a mass of 18 grams. He places it in a graduating cylinder that contains 20 milliliters of water, and notice that the level rises to 22 milliliters. What is the density of the coin? We did this one with our substance. What are we going to do with the beginning and the ending volume of our graduating cylinder? We're going to subtract those, right? Does everybody understand what we're doing?
Can you repeat that last?
Yes, sir. I said we're going to do the same things we did in the lab for the third one. Remember how we measured how much water we had. We put the item in and we measured it again, and we subtracted those two to get the number that we need for this one.
When do we do
In the lab on Thursday and Monday.
that?
Yes.
It's okay. I figured out this one.
Okay.
I think I got it.
I think you got it. Please. Now, when you get done, what I would like you to do is I would like you to take your paper and turn it in the back. Then I would like you to get your textbook turn to page 44, start taking notes, so everybody can have a chance to do it on their own, because I don't want to rush anybody. Please see if there's anything. I told you first. You're welcome. The one without the camper. The one on the left without the camper. You see the camper on the front of the other one? One without. There you go. Just go ahead and start taking notes.